And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
Hello again, and thank you for joining us today for one of the few events this year that won't have a critical impact on the World Championship. So maybe we can all relax just a little bit more and enjoy the action from this wonderful field of historic cars.
Hi there everyone, and welcome to part 4 of my McLaren career mode. Bit of a change of scenery then from the McLaren car. We are in a Red Bull car at this classic car event. One light, and away we go. Straight away, no holds barred. That was not a great start at all. The premise of this classic car event is that it's a pursuit event. We have to catch up to the 4 cars ahead of us and overtake them before the end of the event. Otherwise, we are a disgrace to Red Bull. But quickly, let's just listen to that engine noise. That right there is the sound of pure... Nope, I got nothing. Anyway, let's not dwell on that too much then. Let's carry straight on then, behind the 1988 McLaren car of Sarri. He's going to be feeling sorry for himself when I've blitzed past the straight. That is a pun I'm never saying again, bloody hell. But we do indeed blitz past him on the straight then, up into Rich Mix, there he goes, going into the big old hairpin, down to first gear for this one actually. But before that, he's catching up in the slipstream, which is quite worrying. However, we are later and braver on the brakes. Our car is far superior, and there we are cleanly passed. Next target then is the 1995 Ferrari of Kaufmann, as you can see. Into the second to last corner though, we seem to run a bit wide, but the last corner, our grip is absolutely impeccable. We blitz our way past and gobble him up like a roast chicken, and that puts us up into position 2 then, and one more car up the road to overtake. And as you can see, we were just developing a rhythm around this track. I was getting more and more used to it, getting faster and faster, and we get amazing traction off that left-hander straight past the Williams car, and that is it. We are done with this challenge, and we go wider than the width of the River Somme into that last corner, but it is done. We finish in first place, mission complete. Absolutely brilliant. But now we can move on to bigger and better things and focus on the race weekend ahead of us. In the last episode, I won't spoil it for anyone that hasn't watched it, but if you haven't, go watch it. It was amazing. And coming into this race weekend, we have an engine power upgrade that is set to go on the car, which around a track like Baku is going to be a big, big help. Hopefully it will actually succeed. So, Karl, please don't screw this up.
We had a major issue on the production line earlier this week, so the entire development package for this weekend has failed. Check your workstation for the details.
Okay, Karl, deep breaths, deep breaths. Had a major problem on the production line, mate. You're going to have a major problem with the amount of plastic surgery you're going to need to buy after I punch your face in. Do you know what, Karl? You know, it's okay. It's okay. It's not like we needed to upgrade. Oh, and when I thought it couldn't get any worse. Yes, it could. Not the way we wanted to start at all. The power upgrade we were so hoping we'd get, as you could see, as I made quite audibly clear, has failed. And that's really going to put us on the back foot going into this weekend. On a more comical note though, here is the laughing stock that is my rival list, and in terms of what I'm going to do with that, I'm probably just going to wait until I get a lot more sensible options, because right now, I do not have the pace to challenge any of those guys realistically. But like I was saying before, without that power upgrade, we are really going to struggle around Baku, a track where power is so important. But who knows, maybe we can spring a surprise on the field. I, for one, hope we really do, because otherwise this is going to be a very, very tough weekend for us. Let's jump straight into practice then and see how we do. So here we are, diving into practice then, like Tom Daly, coming around the first corner of Baku, and it is a purple score around the first corner, which is very good to see. Can we do the exact same in the second corner? Oh.
No.
Continuing on with the same practice program then, here we are going down the second straight towards turn number 3, and can we nail the corner? Like Churchill would say, oh yes. We cut on to the end of the tyre management program then, and as you can see, we're up on the target time. It's a purple score. It's absolutely beautiful. Speaking of beautiful, nice replay cameras and a nice papaya orange McLaren we're driving. At the end of the fuel saving, we're down on the target time though, which is not good, but we just, and only just beat it at the end. Qualifying pace then, a program we seem to normally do really well on. However, coming through the end of the first sector, we're only 2 tenths up on our current time, and that's reduced to nothing as we come through the next quarter, so that is not a good showing from us. And as we come down the straight here, I know what you're probably thinking.
Ha! Your engine pace is rubbish!
Well, no.
Okay, well, yes, it might be.
But I'll tell you what isn't rubbish, slipstream, and we've got that from Carlos Sainz, and our time is slowly climbing, and this can make all the difference. Coming across the line, we get a purple score. Hell to the flippin' yes, we do. That right there is absolutely beautiful to see. We end the session then in 3rd place. Van Dorn isn't on the timesheet though, so that is quite a worry to say the least. But our showing in practice means that hopefully we are not entirely screwed for this weekend. Anyway, we have an interview with Claire. Let's see what she has to say.
Great work out there today. How do you think it went? You really went all out in practice today. Are you testing new components?
What the fuck? You know what, I would have loved to have tested new components this weekend, if it weren't for some absolute fruitcake in the McLaren headquarters.
You scraped the walls a few times. Were you struggling for grip?
Shut up!
Well, thanks anyway.
Thanks, Claire, for not only ruining my eardrums, but also giving me the worst questions I have ever witnessed. Resource points wise, we will never know how many we got, that's great. Reputation wise, we do know how we did. We excelled in all areas, which is lovely to see, and everywhere else, because Claire gave us such idiotic questions, we will never know if we gained anywhere else. So let's read some emails instead then, to wash away the stupidity that is Claire's interviews. Blissfully though, as you can see, it is not apparently going to be raining at the end of qualifying, it is only going to be cloudy, which is just glorious to see, because otherwise I'd crash, and that's probably what you all want to see, to be honest, but I don't care. We repurchased the power upgrade that we didn't get for this race, and that'll be on the car for Spain then. It's just still such a shame that it wasn't on the car for this weekend, around the track where straight line speed is so important. I can't stress that enough. From our practice session showing, it looks like we could in fact spring a surprise on the field, which is what I want to do. But this is Baku, and unfortunately anything could happen and probably will happen, as we've seen from previous races. So let's hope we do well then. It is time for qualifying.
The circuit has rubbered in with practice, but this is still going to be a difficult session for our drivers as they fight for pole position. Welcome to qualifying here in Azerbaijan.
Right, here we go, chomping our way down the straight like an excitable rabbit chomps through carrots. Hurtling our way down towards the first corner then. 210 miles an hour, braking at about 120 meters out, 3rd gear, clip the apex on the inside. Try not to slide it on the outside, which we failed to do. But coming down towards the 2nd corner, try not to clip the curb on the inside, which we also failed to do. It's somebody's...
I clearly haven't learned from last time, have I?
But we're coming down towards the start-finish line then. Overtake mode DRS as fast as we can. DRS assistance. The slap felt okay, not the best, but not the worst either, so that's not too bad. Across the line, and we are P2. That's not bad at all. I will take that. We are in very high spirits then. P2 so far, we're going to have to weaken those to a gin and tonic level as we are lowered to P9. But where on earth is Van Dorn?
Oh no. Oh boy. Oh god.
5 minutes later, and he's not even on the page, he's done so badly. But more importantly, we are through to the next session. P11, not bad at all. Hardly a second to breathe then until we get into Q2. Our first flying lap in anger, down to 3rd gear once again. First corner, not nearly as squirmish on the exit. That is a lot better than last time. 2nd corner, can we improve from last time? Just about, kissing that curb, clean as you like. And then down the 2nd straight we go. Castle section, absolutely terrifying bit. I feel like I'm always going to clip the wall on the outside. But we go in with some balls, beach balls, and we are out of that place safely. Coming down towards the finishing line then of our first lap in Q2. Where is it going to put us? It's putting us in P3, which isn't too bad. But of course, we go into the garage. We sim through P10. Uh-oh,
that's not ideal. Let's be perfectly honest here.
And so for that reason, we're going to venture out one more time. 2nd flying lap to make sure we solidify our position in the top 10. Round the first corner, snazzy replay camera. As you can see, we're in P11 at the moment, so it's a good thing we've gone out to do one last flying lap. Not too far up on our time at the moment, about a 10th up, sliding out of that corner so we lose a bit of time. But hopefully as we come on to the end of the lap, as you can see, we're just over a 10th up. So it could be worse, it could be better. But hopefully in the balance of things, we shall be into the next session. Coming up to the DRS line. There is the DRS line. DRS is open. Hopefully we won't run out of ERS. Oh, wait, yes, we will. But coming across the line, where is that going to put us? Wait for it. It's going to put us in P8. We are into Q3 for the 4th time in 4 races. That is good. This is a track that shouldn't suit our car at all, and we are beating the likes of Daniel Ricciardo and Carlos Sainz, which is very good as we have a worse engine than both of them. So hopefully we can transfer this incredible pace into Q3. Q3 then, and things have got a bit interesting actually. Remember when Jeff was saying, it's not going to rain at the end of the session, you're fine mate? Well, I can confirm that that is a load of horse. As you can see on the car and the halo, there are droplets of rain coming off it, and that is exactly what we didn't want. So right at the beginning of the session, we've had to go out while the track is at its absolute driest, well, driest as it possibly can be, to try and set the best time we can. So through the castle section we go. Once again, our beach balls have turned to beach balls of absolute steel, completely flying through there. And as we come round the final corner, around the final straight, don't know how you go round a straight, but I'll leave you with that thought. As we come across the line, it is no change. That really doesn't look promising at all for us, and as we come on to the end results, I think the phrase could have done better is probably the way we can sum this up. But to be fair, it felt like the grip of the car was falling away from underneath me, so how people were getting 1 minute 39s in those conditions is beyond me. It's unfortunate really, because we did better in the last session, but that's the way the cookies crumbled. It's P10, could have done better, but there you go. So back into the paddock area it is then, looking at the rivalry results, and we are still battering Stoffel Vandoorne in that. That is lovely to see.
Please smile. Just once.
Resource points wise, we're going to take a look at how many we get, session participation, all that jazz, completed laps, blah 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 blah, and in total we now have 474 resource points to spend. Reputation-wise, we're doing okay. Our team like us very much, and so do Toro Rosso actually, but other teams aren't very satisfied with how we did.
Well done. Very solid results. You're looking good for the race.
Thanks very much, Emma. I'm glad you're optimistic. I'm not feeling too optimistic. Jeff, the weather guru, or pre-weather guru should I say, saying it's going to be all sunny. It could be a thunderstorm for all I know. But looking into the race, like I was saying, I'm not entirely optimistic because we don't have a great engine, and I don't really rate our chances of getting in the points for this race, to be entirely honest. But let's keep on fighting. It's time for the race.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Let's talk about the scientist. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition. But Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience, but some of these guys in Formula One have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
We're almost ready to go then, and this is what the starting grid looks like for today's race. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Daniel Ricciardo, and Perez, Sainz, Grosjean, the scientist, and Kevin Magnussen. Verstappen, they've taken a grid penalty. Leclerc, Nico Hülkenberg, and Gasly, Ocon, Stroll, Brendan Hartley, and Marcus Ericsson. Vandoorne and Sergei Sirotkin rounds off the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Here we are on the grid then, waiting to start the race. We have moved up to P9 on the grid thanks to a grid penalty, so that is a positive start already as far as I'm concerned. Our pace is a little bit of a worry considering Stoffel Vandoorne did qualify 19th on the grid, second to last, and that is not a good showing for our team. I qualified 10th, so my joint worst qualifying of the season in 4 races, so whatever that means. We're just going to have to be very ambitious with our overtakes then. Either way, here we are looking at the strategy, turning the fuel down. It's going to be a 2-stop, ultra softs to super softs to super softs, which should be good. Here we are for the formation lap then, blitzing our way past some cars. We slide about like a happy salmon once again. Oh yes, our favourite. And time to back up the pack once again. Safety car mode engaged. Form up the pack. Come on, guys. Let's keep it nice and slow. And suddenly we're all... I'm ghosting. What's going on there? I unghost. And it seems alright. Nothing's happened. No contact. And... Oh. Let's quickly forget that ever happened then, because we are now on the grid for 5 red lights, and it is away we go for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We immediately cut to the inside, so Magnussen does not have a chance of getting up our inside and taking our position, so we go down his teammates inside. Take that how you will. But to be honest, our life's been made a lot harder because he is still there on the outside, but we have the inside line for the next corner. Second gear, our superior traction slingshotting us off the corner like David versus Goliath. And that is us up into P8 straight away then. Next up, target in sight is Carlos Sainz's Renault, and we brake a lot later than him into that corner, so maybe our braking prowess is going to prove very nice here indeed. However, we might not even need it for Carlos Sainz. We've got our straight line speed, and as you can see, Rich Mix overtake mode. We sweep clean past him. However, he has slipstream going into turn 1 now, so he could sweep back past us like an excitable broom. However, that doesn't happen, and we are round and clean past into P7, and that is how close the pack is. The KarlsCars and Carlos Sainz are actually not that far behind me. Perez and Ricciardo fighting up ahead. We scrape the wall into the castle section. That's not what we need. But as you can see here, we are quite close into the castle section, but the AI, the traction they get off that corner every single time,
it's ridiculous. Like, what the hell?
Although the Mercedes engine could be a contributing factor as to why Perez got such a good exit and is now roaring away from us. Meanwhile, roaring towards us like a lion is Carlos Sainz. Gonna try and go around the round the outside of turn 1. That's very ambitious. He's later on the brakes than us. We have to keep our foot in, and we do manage to chop him off like a knife through butter. And that is us up into P7 then. Next up the road, our target is the wily old Australian fox himself, Daniel Ricciardo, who himself is in pursuit of Sergio Perez. So them two having a massive ding-dong battle up ahead. But God, we screw the pooch into that section. But there were yellow flags behind us, very bizarrely. So as we go on board with Max Verstappen, even more bizarrely is the fact the Haas car has completely cut the corner, but it all makes sense now because that is Kevin Magnussen up ahead with a right rear tyre puncher, and as you can see, he is creating a massive train of cars behind him, which is ideal for me because that means I can scamper away. On to lap 4 then, and as you can see, Carlos Sainz has pulled in for a pit stop, so he is trying the undercut on us, so that could prove problematic, so we better push hard on this last lap then. As you can see, we've actually caught up to Ricciardo quite a bit on this lap. Him and Perez, I think, were fighting quite substantially, so we've caught up quite a fair chunk as we come into the castle section, and can we maintain that gap? Because the AI seem to be really good through this section, so precariously nearly touching the walls, but we do manage to keep ourselves safe. And on to the end of the lap then, we are green, and we're still keeping Ricciardo. What's this?
Okay, the safety car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
The gods and goddesses of luck have descended upon us then. A safety car has come out right on the lap where we were about to make a pit stop onto super softs. So we're going to come in and do just that then, and hopefully we can have a big gap to Carlos Sainz and jump a couple of other people as well then. Into the pits we come. Lap 5, lean and non-ERS, saving as much as we can here for our first of 2 pit stops this race. Let's hope it's a good one. Straight in the box. Let's see what we do. We're getting held in. What is this? Hang on. No. There's no way. We do keep ahead of Grosjean, thankfully. That was ridiculous. We got held in. And look on the right as we cross the white line like an absolute fish. Carlos Sainz has jumped us. So even though we got a huge dash of luck, Carlos Sainz has thwarted our hopes of retaining our position compared to him. And that is not what we wanted at all then. So we take L in this case. We shall convert it to W later. We stay behind Carlos Sainz as we catch up to the safety car queue at the end of lap 5. So we've had to actually use a bit of our tyres to try and catch up. And as you can see, I'm weaving around like mad now to try and keep them up to temperature. So you can see that front left turned into a bit of an igloo. And so we need to warm up that igloo a little bit. It might melt a bit, but we need to warm up that igloo quite substantially. I don't know, I've always seemed to have trouble with heating up the tyres. The AI are very good at it, I'm not, so there you are. But the safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. The igloos that we had before are now substantially warmer, as you can see. And now we are going to line astern and hopefully completely slipstream Carlos Sainz down the straight and regain the position that is rightfully ours. Interestingly though, up ahead of him is the guy who caused the safety car to come out, Kevin Magnussen, who's in the mid-pack now. He's had time to make a pit stop, change his tyres, change his front wing, whether he needed to change really, and he's all fixed up, so maybe he'll let us through, maybe he'll come charging through the pack. Safety car is over, we pull up alongside Carlos Sainz to let him know we're there in a commanding fashion, and it's go, 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 and let's see if we can go through. Slipstreaming, oh, we got boxed in. Magnussen just let everyone through. That was the wrong time for that. So Carlos Sainz is gonna escape. No, he's not. Down the inside we go. Dive bombs McGee, and that is P15. That was a very audacious move then. And Perez is gonna get it as well. Oh my word. Sergio Perez caught napping on the restart behind the Williams of Sirotkin, so that's probably why, to be honest. Our victory might not last long though, because here he comes, that Mercedes power unit, brave on the brakes. We back off because he tries to go for an overtake on Sirotkin as well, and I don't want to get involved in that. However, we're going to go down the inside for the next corner, try and squeeze him as much as we can. That wasn't the best squeeze I could have done. That was a very light squeeze, so much so he's coming down the inside into the left-hander, but as we come through the next corner, we have done it. We are up into P14 securely, and the next target is the Williams of Sergei Sirotkin. And if there's one thing I know about the Williams cars, it's that they are incredibly slow through the corners. Tortoise levels of slow, as you can see, pushing him through the last proper corner. That is not what we need, because we could risk chopping our front wing off, or even worse, getting overtaken from behind. Don't know how that's a worse outcome. That was a ridiculous voice break. We're going to carry on as he squeezes us towards the wall. Sirotkin, man, you don't need to be that aggressive. So overtake, rich mix. Perez has got even more richer and overtaker ERS. That is not good. We're biting the bullet there, but we're going to send it down the inside of both of them into the first corner. Incredible scenes, 2 into 1. That is what we like. Hopefully we can take a quick breather from all the action then. There is Stoffel Van Dorn, my teammate, and he is doing pretty well. Not too bad at all, considering he started 19th. Into the castle section, we've had superior pace all weekend, so we are keeping up, but he gets the exit of all exits off that corner, which is quite frankly stupid, and I get the worst exit since exits began, and Perez with his Mercedes power unit is looking ever more threatening. He is trying to move down the inside of this left-hander. That is quite frankly ridiculous. However, we do maintain our position for now, so that is crucial, but down the main straight, he has a lot more power than us, and he's going to blitz his way past, and that is not what we need. So we're going to have to hog his slipstream, and we don't have DRS bearing in mind, so this is just purely the engine and slipstream at work. Can we dive bomb into turn 1? Oh, of course we can. Down the inside we go, and we retake P13 from Perez. Here we are at the castle section once again, then chasing after our teammate, but Perez is still lurking there like a hungry hippo, waiting in the wings, waiting to snap up any opportunity. So let's see if we can scamper away from those lethal jaws, and in this case, it looks like we do actually. We get an incredible exit, as it turns out, off that corner somehow. Who even knows? And on the straight, we have such a gap that we are in fact miles ahead, albeit we do have literally no ERS now, but there you go. We set a personal best lap for us of the race so far, and now we are very close to overtaking our teammate. Onto the second straight, we do have DRS, however ERS is looking very scarce at the moment, so we need to be saving that for now, which is unfortunate. However, as we come through here, we have some saucy camera angles, 2 papaya orange McLarens lying astern, as you can see. We are closing up to Van Dorn all the while, however, we just can't get close enough, and we're just going to have to stay behind, which is infuriating because we have so much more pace. As you can see, coming up to the right-hander, I consider trying to dive down the inside, but it's not worth it. I think better off it, otherwise I will definitely lop off my front wing. So our next opportunity is actually the back straight of the end of that lap. We have saved a bit of ERS, and some DRS too, I should imagine.
DRS is offline. The rear wing is down, so you can stay out and work on fix.
I'm not even going to comment on that. That's just stupid. Anyway, down the main straight, as we don't have DRS, as it turns out. Perez has hit the side of us. What on earth is going on there? We're waving the hand of frustration. Van Dorn and I bang wheels. That's not good, but we do make it up the inside of our teammate. That is us up into P11. Next target then is Marcus Ericsson, and as you can see, there's a train of about 3 cars. So once we pass Ericsson, we should be able to get these guys. Down the inside we go then of Marcus Ericsson. Very cautious. First gear, making sure we don't make contact this time, and we do that to perfection. Clean as you like, past him we go. Rather annoyingly though, despite all the effort we put into overtake both Ericsson and my teammate, they both come in on this lap to make their one and only stop of the race. So rather infuriating that we've used our tyres for that, but that means Perez now is unleashed as well to try and overtake us once again, and that's not what I want. So we need to make a good exit off this corner, and as you can see, I think we do that, but Perez does have slipstream, DRS, and has a Mercedes power unit. That's my excuse for today, but he doesn't get close enough, and we do retain our P6. for now, so we're doing very well for ourselves. But we're going to have to pipe down slightly now because we're on the back straight, and do you know what that means? I'm going to get overtaken by a Mercedes power unit. Shock! So here we go then, high as ERS as we can because we haven't got that much. Here comes Sergio Perez, Mercedes power unit, and he makes contact with us again. Come on, man, drive properly. Regardless though, you can see the difference in straight line speed that we have now. Perez has DRS and is using more ERS than us, and there's no way we're going to be able to dive bomb him into turn 1, but he's left the door open, and like a little mouse, we're going to take that cheese and gobble it up and move our way up into P5, in fact, as someone's made a pit stop, so we come off even better than we had been before. Things are looking on the up for our stem, but as we come on to the back straight of that lap, for God's sake.
Oh look, we're getting overtaken by a Mercedes power unit. Perez down the outside, I've got to brake later, I've got to dive bomb down the inside. Oh, I've got my position back. Shock.
I just don't want to be overtaken. Like, is that too much to ask? Coming out of turn 2 though, the car is tail happy as you like, sliding about. That is not what we want when we're trying to keep our position from a Mercedes power unit car. That is literally my only excuse now, and as he comes down the back straight, what's this? Perez and Sainz are both trying the undercut once again, and I'm pretty sure it's Sainz behind Perez, so we're left out on the overcut once again to try and keep our position from those two. Coming through the castle section then, our beach balls of steel haven't left us this weekend. However, our tyres definitely have, as you can see. We're just sliding about through every single corner. We're going to lose heaps of time, and possibly Perez and Sainz will be able to jump us, which is really not what we want. But instead of coming in, we're going to try and extend this for one more lap, in order to try and make the most of these tyres and then have really fresh tyres at the end in which we can hopefully really attack. Virtual safety car came out for some reason. No idea why. Nothing happened at all. Can't remember. But either way, we're going to come in for our second pit stop of the day. Lap 17. It is a 9-lap sprint to the end on these super softs. We can push hard as we like. Here we go then. Let's hope it's a good one. We shouldn't get held up nearly as much as we had been before, and as you can see, it is a clean pit stop. Ocon is past us, but Ocon wasn't really a problem. It's Perez that's the problem right now, and we forget to switch off the pit limiter, and that's not a good thing because Perez could be on the attack, but he is behind us thankfully because of the VSC. So our lucky stars once again, thank them very much because that is exactly what we needed. And with the VSC ending, it is now attack, attack, attack. First target is the Force India, surprisingly, of Esteban Ocon, who I haven't really seen much of this race. However, attack is what we need to do. So coming onto the back straight, hopefully this is our chance now to get past the car instead of being passed and then having to re-dive bomb our way through. All the way up on the ERS, we have it to deploy. Fuel, we don't switch up, which is extremely weird. However, our DRS is now fixed. We have the DRS, so that's going to make life a lot easier. We are gaining, and gaining still. But there's Perez as well. He's going to be 3 wide into the first corner. I do not want that. We brake later than Perez, so thankfully it is not. Go a bit deep, but that squeezes out Ocon, and that is us up into P7, but not before he goes back down the inside of us and tries a very ambitious move. However, we do manage to keep that position, and it is definitely P7. But worse news is that Perez has also passed Esteban Ocon, and that is really not what we need, because judging in the last stint and how much he was pummeling us then, this is going to be disgusting. This stint is going to be absolutely disgusting. We are setting a personal best lap, but it could be a very, very long stint. Up ahead is Pierre Gasly, though, and hopefully we can catch him up and overtake him. But on the next lap, on the back straight, oh shock, here comes Perez once again. He's going to be late on the brakes. He's there on the outside. We're locking up that time, so that's not good at all, but we do manage to keep our position for now. He's dropped off significantly from all that, and hopefully we get a good exit off the second corner, enough so that Perez doesn't make a move, and it seems like we do have a big enough gap to keep him behind for now, so that is all the more positive. However, here we are, same spot, very next lap, coming round the second corner, and they are a lot closer, and by they, I mean the Force India of Sergio Perez and the Renault of who I believe to be Carlos Sainz, and Perez has DRS and ERS. He's going to try and go down the inside. We squeeze a bit, but leave him the room, and oh my god, he's hit the inside wall, and I think he's out of the race. He's lost his front left tyre, and unbelievably, the Force India of Sergio Perez, who could have scored mega points at this race, and we would have definitely had a lovely ding-dong battle. He's taken himself out of the race. Maybe I squeezed a bit too much, I don't know, but he's hit the inside wall, and he's out of the race. But here comes Carlos Sainz before I can even contemplate what's happened. I'm hitting the wall as well now, so that is not a good look, and he is way ahead. There's no point. I do go for a little dive, and that doesn't scare Carlos Sainz enough. He is way ahead, and that's the end of that story. However, on the second straight of that same lap, second long straight, we have DRS and ERS. We're going to try an audacious move into turn number 3, and we do make it happen. We don't hit the inside wall. We don't do a Perez, and that is us up into P7 once again. Power sliding, Tokyo drifting our way around that corner, but there we are. We do hold position for now. And at this point, I would say, relax, have a break, have a Kit Kat, have a nice cup of tea. Just get your breath back for a couple of minutes, because, you know, I need to. However, whenever I show a clip of this back straight, it all goes catastrophically wrong, and I get minced into turn 1. So with all inevitability shattered, here comes Carlos Sainz once again in our slipstream, just like the beginning of the race, just like good times. Up the inside he goes, and you know what we do, you know how this song and dance goes. We're going to dive it back up the inside. However, he's got better traction than us, so our dive bomb tactics haven't worked in this circumstance, and we're left scratching our head and locking our wheels, which is not ideal. However, we do have DRS and some ERS to deploy for this lap on this straight, so here we go then in the slipstream of Carlos Sainz. We're going to do what we did last lap into turn 3, late on the brakes, down the inside. Oh no, we hit the rear axle. That's not what we want. So let's try down the inside into the next corner then, and oh my god. We're not having racing of that standard on this channel. No. No. However, before we can even think about that too much, we're in trouble, because here comes Carlos Sainz once again down the main straight. He has a lot more DRS and ERS as it turns out, because once again we are very limited on it at the moment, and he's gone straight past us into turn 1, and there's no way we were going to be able to dive bomb him there. That was quite frankly stupendous work from Carlos Sainz, but we're going to have to do stupendous work of our own then, as we've saved up a bit of ERS from turns 1 and 2, and now we have it to deploy in the way to turn 3. Rich mix, DRS, and we're going to dive bomb it down the inside into turn 3, what we were meant to do last lap, but even cleaner and even better. That is the racing we like to see on this channel. Onto the back straight then at the end of the lap, and I mean, this is just textbook, isn't it? We're going to get absolutely slaughtered by the car behind us, because here comes Carlos Sainz, DRS, ERS once again. Take a shot for every time I've said any one of those words, but he gets the position. We're going to have to go back down the inside, hold the position if we can, squeeze him out. We throw the hand up in frustration. That is not a good look for us, but as we go into turn 2, we have the inside line, and this time we do make it all the way past, and as long as we get a good exit, which I'm pretty sure we did, because Carlos Sainz is nowhere now, we do hold P7. And that was imperative, because as you can see in the top right, it is the last lap of the Grand Prix. Vettel's won the race already. We're not even halfway around the track, and Vettel has already won the race. That is, quite frankly, incredible stuff from him. He's driven impeccably all weekend, but there you go. Here's Carlos Sainz's last opportunity then to try and gobble up our P7 like a hungry turkey on this back straight, where we've pretty much had no pace compared to the rest of the field all weekend. Firing towards the line like a missile, and Sainz hasn't managed a gap. He's being overtaken by Ocon, and amazingly, on a weekend where it looked like we were off the pace, we're going to take solid points.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
That's a fantastic performance from Ferrari. It hardly looked in doubt. Tell me, Ant, what was the key to this success?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the ASMR ending of this career mode. As you can see, Vettel won the race, and deservedly so. He's clean swept the whole weekend ahead of the 2 Mercedes cars. Our result was very good indeed, and if you couldn't tell, I was happy enough. My voice broke for the 2nd or 3rd time this entire video.
Not an ideal race for my throat then, but for us, it was a very good outlook indeed. Starting in P9, we managed to get P7, something I didn't think was going to happen, to be honest, but there you go. We do manage to salvage the result. Let's give a word to Pierre Gasly, though, who started 14th, did the one stop, and came ahead of us and was P6. So, well played to him. He's made us look a bit silly, to be honest. Stoffel's race, he gained positions, but, I mean, that's just not, it's not very good now, is it? But overall, not a bad race at all. Very very exciting, very action-packed. Let's go over to Claire and see what she has to say.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective. You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
Oh no. Oh no.
Do you have any comments about the collisions? Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Claire. I mean, your questions have been really tilted this weekend. I don't understand what's going on here. Anyway, in terms of rivalry, as you can see, still battering Stoffel Van Dorn. Resource points wise, as you can see, we're going to gain a heap. And we're going to complete a team goal as well, so that's even more of a heap. So much so, we are on 1,115 resource points. In other words, that's quite a lot. Reputation-wise, as you can see, we don't gain any reputation from McLaren, or very much from anyone for that matter, and I purely blame that on Claire's stupid freaking questions. Anyway, everywhere else, nothing really changed from there.
Great work. That's exactly the kind of result I'm looking for. Keep it up.
Thank you very much, Emma. Wasn't our best race weekend, but definitely wasn't our worst either. We made some solid overtakes and some solid progress in that race, so I will take it. But, more interestingly than that, we have a contract renegotiation, so we can negotiate opposition with the team, try and get some extra perks here and there, wink wink, nudge nudge McLaren. So I went for a couple of perks, including upgrade speed, simultaneous development, and race bonus resource points. So we're going to try that and see how we do.
We're asking for too much here.
Are you literally kidding me? Look at literally the most frustrating thing. So we turn our status down to second driver, and look at this.
All right, the terms have been agreed. All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
Yeah, Emma, but we know which race deal I actually should be on, thank you.
Let's move on. It doesn't matter. With our bank of resource points then, as you can see, we are on the R&D tree and going to spend them on the department efficiency upgrade for the chassis side of things, which should help us with upgrading in the coming future. Here we are on the results screen then, looking at our trophies, well, the one trophy that we have anyway in Shanghai. But we have finished in the points in every single race so far this season, so we are showing consistency at least. Looking at the driver standings then, we are in 6th place, not too far behind Lewis Hamilton actually, with our teammate right behind us in 7th place, who is ahead of Max Verstappen, who's had a shocker at the moment. And constructors wise, we are best of the rest, holding down 4th place. And that's pretty much all there is to say about this weekend of action-packed goodness in Baku. The race was really enjoyable to drive. Yes, I was getting overtaken constantly on the back straight, but at the end of the day, it's nice to have those battles, mostly clean battles, with the AI. Next up is the Spanish Grand Prix, hopefully a track that suits our car a bit better, and hopefully we can score even more points than we have today. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this episode, please leave it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on that notification bell so you don't miss any one of my uploads. The Spanish Grand Prix will be coming soon, I promise. Links to my Twitter and Instagram will be in the description, so give those a follow if you haven't already. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.